First Minister, do you think Mrs May is capable of delivering a Brexit that you could ever support?
It doesn't look like it at the moment. Our bottom line is membership of the Single Market and Customs Union. I still believe that's possible after perhaps a point of crisis in these negotiations, but at the moment my guess would be either no deal, or perhaps the increasing possibility is what's been described as a blind deal, where she might manage to cobble together a withdrawal agreement, but the only way she can do that is by kicking all of the difficult issues about the future relationship into the long grass. So the UK leaves at the end of March next year with no idea what the future relationship is going to be, and that strikes me as being just as, or certainly almost as unacceptable and damaging as a no-deal Brexit.
But therefore, why not go right now for an independence referendum?
Because we have to wait and see. I could be wrong about what I've just said to you. Continue to hold that open as a possibility.
But it wouldn't alter your view that you should go for an independence referendum.
We hopefully are not too far away from knowing whether it's a no deal, a blind deal, or a bad deal Brexit. So I will wait and see what transpires, and then I will set out my view on an independence referendum at that time.
But Brexit is Brexit, independence is independence. I mean, why would Brexit interfere with your desire to go for independence?
It's a reasonable question. It doesn't affect my support of independence, but in terms of the timing in which to ask people to take the decision, the relationship in the future between the EU and the UK will provide the context in which Scotland would become independent, and therefore the detail of that relationship inevitably shapes some of the answers to questions people will have about the implications of independence. So being patient, exercising some patience, waiting till we get to the end of this phase of negotiations before setting out my view, is showing respect to the importance of the decision that people in Scotland would be asked to make.
Your deputy leader on Saturday at the big march in Edinburgh was shouting independence now.
Well, people in the SNP, including Keith, myself, of course we want independence now. Most of us have spent our entire lives campaigning for it, and if it was up to me, we'd be independent yesterday, and failing that, we'd be independent tomorrow. But we have to take decisions in the round. We have to take decisions in the interest not just of the SNP or even the wider independence movement. My job is to take decisions in the light of the interests of the whole country, and that's what I will seek to do.
If one looks at precedent, you have here attending the Deputy President of the Catalan government. Now, I mean, it's pretty clear that Spain and Europe, in other words, a national entity and Europe, combine together to frustrate independence of Catalonia. They're not going to let you off, are they?
Well, look, we in 2014 had a constitutionally agreed process, and that's the way, in my view, these decisions should be taken. And when they're taken, and if Scotland voted for independence in that context, then I believe the European Union both should and would accept that outcome.
Although they have said they wouldn't.
Well, I'm not sure that's true,
well,
actually.
Indicated they wouldn't.
I'm not
and
entirely
Catalonia
sure that's
suggests
true.
They wouldn't.
Catalonia, and I don't want to get into the detail of the Catalonian situation, but Catalonia is in a different position because of the Spanish constitution and the refusal of the Spanish government to allow that constitutional process to take place. I met with the Vice President of Catalonia last night discussing some of the issues they're facing. Of course, they face the absolutely outrageous situation where there are politicians in prison for trying to have a democratic vote. Now, Scotland is not in that position, and I hope that just as we had in 2014, while myself, politicians like Theresa May have very different views on whether or not Scotland should become independent, we would agree that the people to decide that are the Scottish people, and that should be done constitutionally and democratically. And the argument, of course, that matters most is why should Scotland become independent, so that we can't have change imposed on us against our will as we are facing with Brexit, so that we can steward our own resources, build a fairer, better society as a result.